And hello and welcome to Arts and Entertainment. I'm Deborah Gilbert, your host. And as always, it's so great to have you. Thank you so much for being here. And as always, I hope you enjoy the show. Well, we're going to highlight a wonderful organization that I did last year, but I'm happy, very happy to have the co-founders back with me today. We're talking about the New Haven Academy of Performing Arts, Cabaret on Main Theater, and Broadway on Main Theater Company as well. And also, I'd like to thank you both so much, Neil and Billy. Thank you. Billy, welcome back.
Thank you. It's
Neil,
a pleasure
thank
to be
you
here.
for being here.
Pleasure to be here.
Wonderful to have you. And as we had talked before we taped, you might remember, which we just mentioned, about your background.
Sure.
Let's introduce you to the viewers so that they know what you're all about before we get to talk about what you're here to talk about. Billy, why don't you go ahead?
I will try to keep it as short and sweet as possible. So my background is in the entertainment business. I worked on cruise ships all over the world for about 6 years on tour and did a lot of different musicals and theater on land. And then in 2012, when I decided to no longer travel the world and be on tour, I decided to open a vocal studio at my house and start teaching. And I did with much success. And within a couple years, it became one of the busiest studios in the area. And that's when we became New Haven Academy of Performing Arts. And in 2015, we moved into our current location. And Neil joined me at that time of beginning to teach as well. And it's just ever growing ever since.
Did you know growing up that you were going to be performing?
I always knew that I wanted to be an entertainer. I started at 7, so I started very, very young. And it was a great experience from there on out. I really started heavily getting into doing it professionally in my early teens. And then it just kind of morphed into more and more. Of course, like every other artist, I got into I got into the restaurant business as well, which is what Neil and I did a lot together. And the hospitality business taught me so much, and that opened doors for me into the world of the cruise ships. And then I started teaching while I was on the cruise ships. I started teaching dancers to sing because they wanted to make more money, and singers get paid a higher rate than dancers do. And I realized I had a knack for it. And then as I decided to make my home studio, I realized I wanted to know more, and I joined an educational program called International Voice Teachers of Mix, which is a world-renowned training organization for voice teachers where you get to work with doctors and speech language pathologists, voice scientists, and learn all the ins and outs about becoming a vocal educator. And I was the first teacher in the state of Connecticut to become accredited, and I went on to being their area representative for the Northeast, and I train other teachers now, and Neil is one of the teachers that I trained.
Before, the viewers probably saying, Deborah, stop just for a second, the cruise industry.
Yes.
What was it like performing on it for the actor that's out there or
Sure.
performer? How do they get involved in it?
I actually love it so much that I recommend all of my graduating students to do it at some point in their career. One of the wonderful things about the industry is you do make a really good salary. You're getting to see the world. You're waking up in different countries. You don't have to do 7 shows or 8 shows a week. You usually do a few shows over a couple-week period of time, so there's a lot of time to explore and enjoy the other parts of the industry while you're out there. And because it is such a unique industry to be a part of, and the living style is very unique, if you're good at it and you like it and they like you, you tend to have really consistent work. So once I was in the door and they liked me, I really didn't have to constantly go back to the breadline of go to New York City, re-audition, and go through being judged yet again to see if somebody's going to like me and I'm hireable or not. Instead, halfway through each contract, they will usually say, hey, we have this coming up. Would you like to join us here, or would you like to go there? And so it was really great. I started in my maybe I was about 26, so my mid-20s, and at that point we had already had some established bills and household things to pay for and such. So for me, it was really nice because I didn't have to worry about always being back in the breadline every 4 weeks, 6 weeks or so when a show was over. My contracts were 8 months, 9 months, and then I was always able to roll over to the next one. I would come home, spend some time with him, work in a restaurant for a little while or something, and then I would go back out again.
Neil, your turn. Why don't you tell us about yourself? Introduce yourself.
Sure. Well, I am what we can call, the American dream in a way, because I'm an immigrant. I came from Venezuela. By the age of 6 years old, I knew that I loved the stage. I didn't know what it was about the stage that I loved, but I just loved. I would watch a show on television, but it wasn't about the show. It was about the lighting and the direction and how did they do this and how did they do that since the age of 6. And at the same time, at that age, I wanted to learn English for some reason. And my father started teaching me since my father did. So I went through the motions, graduated high school, went to college, studied more English, became a flight attendant.
Oh.
Became an international flight attendant. I was very lucky that I didn't do any domestic flights. It was always international, 53 countries around the world, which was my way to move to the United States in 1995. And obviously, as an immigrant starting, I started in the restaurant business. I was a waiter, but I always loved to cook too because my mom was a cook. So I started getting into the cooking aspect of the restaurant business, but always looking to do something in the entertainment. So I started doing parties, and I was the special event planning for a big company that used to be here in Connecticut, and that led me on television. So I did 9 years of television in which I went to shows such as Chopped on Food Network. I became a Food Network starting another show called Rewrapped. I did 109 episodes in a local television station here. Went as a host on Telemundo for many years. So I spent 9 years doing that and cooking at the same time. Ended up being the executive chef of a Venezuelan restaurant in Brantford. But at that point, it was 20 years, and your body starts to say, okay, it's rough.
Yeah.
So you need to figure out another way to make a living. So I went through the 2-year program of IFTOM to teach voice. And that's when we came into this, and the rest is history.
Speaking of that, why don't we talk about the New Haven Academy of Performing Arts? I have to look at my notes. Cabaret on Main Theater and Broadway on Main Theater.
In that order?
Because I know that they're very important to you for many years.
Sure.
Because we talked about it last year, and it's still in existence, and you're saying 7 years, so something's going on that's right.
Yes.
Why don't you tell us, let's do New Haven Academy of Performing Arts first.
Sure. So New Haven Academy of Performing Arts is our mothership company, right? And in that organization, we teach about 200 students plus a week. So we see that many families coming in and out of our organization. And we teach voice, piano, guitar, ukulele, drums, bass, horns, dancing, acting, and everything in between, and a partridge in a pear tree on some days. Set building now and everything else that we do with the kids on the side as well. And that has grown to be just an incredible experience. That we have students that have been with us literally since day one as babies and now have gone on or graduated in college or in New York City or on television working. And we have currently a staff of 7 of us.
My goodness. They're coming for class. Is that what that is, or are you performing as well? So
we definitely strived for everything to always be about performing. Neil is very big on that.
Yes,
right?
You know, I always say, we tell my students, it's not the New Haven Academy of Piano. It's not the New Haven Academy of Guitar. It's the New Haven Academy of Performing Arts. So we're going to give you the tools, which is learning guitar, learning piano, learning dancing, learning singing, and now you're going to put it into practice in our academy. It's a double duty thing here. Yes, you're going to learn it, but you're going to go on the stage and you're going to practice it and practice it. So by the time they get out of here, they have enough confidence to go to any stage, any college, any audition without any fear.
Yeah. The main I think most important thing of music arts and arts education is that it's not just about what they're learning in the classroom playing an instrument, it's about the relationships that they are building and those fundamentals of being able to have a conversation with someone and realizing that this is my team and I have to put them before me. It's not just, I don't live in just a me world. And so we have many kids that do go on to be professionals in this field, but that's really not our main goal. We say this all the time to our families. We're not looking to create superstars on Broadway and television, although that does happen and we're very happy when it does. We're trying to create superstar human beings, and that's what the power of the arts has, the ability to change a child's life for the better and change their future for the better.
To show up for others.
That's right. Okay, Cabaret on Main Theater, what is that about? Neil?
Well, Cabaret on Main Theater was an idea that happened because of the same reason. We love the fun our students are practicing and then performing. But having something in-house, having a home for them where they can actually experience that in a professional way was where we wanted to be. So when the opportunity came that this space opened up and we rented it and we transformed that into a theater, then more ideas came to it. So it's not just about us. There's thousands probably of little theater companies in Connecticut, Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, anywhere that is near us that could not afford a professional theater, which is probably $5,000 for a day or $10,000 for a day. You have an opportunity to have a venue here that is not too big, but it will give you the opportunity to perform your art. Or you wrote a book, there is a little theater that you can come here and be able to do that. So we are putting it also for the community, it's just not for us. I remember when we inaugurated the theater, we're backstage and the curtain is closed and we're behind the curtain and the mayor is there and state representatives there. And this is what I said to them. Okay, we built it. You use it.
There you go. Okay, and the last is Broadway on Main. We have so much to cover here today. So I want to be able to get it all because we just had the 28 minutes. Broadway on Main Theater, Billy.
So Broadway on Main Theater was born out of our space of Cabaret on Main. Our goal with Broadway on Main was to be able to bring the community that much more into our belief system and what it is that we're trying to create and what we do. So twice a year, we have our community theater outreach program called Broadway on Main that does 2 community theater musicals. All of our musicals that we choose we are always looking for somewhere in that musical that the character has suffered some type of trauma or bullying or something so that it fits with our mission. And our mission is therapy for trauma, etc., through using theater as the tool, right? So currently, we are doing A Christmas Story, and even in that little fun, silly type of show, Ralphie's character deals with bullying from local kids in school. So we're teaching the kids conflict resolution of how to handle those situations, how to better yourself. And with that happening, it has exploded into so many other things. And now running a nonprofit is very different than running a for-profit company. So now that adds to our plate of dealing with fundraising rather, and finding people who believe in our mission and want to be a participate in what it is that we do. So we have people right now coming for like 45 minutes to an hour across the state to audition and participate. All walks of life, wealthy people, poor people, underserved. It's just an amazing organization.
Okay, let's take a break. Okay, hold that thought. I'm Deborah Gilbert. You are tuned in to Arts and Entertainment. We're going to take a break and we'll be right back. And welcome back to Arts and Entertainment. I'm Deborah Gilbert, your host, and as always, I hope you're enjoying the show. My conversation continues on with Billy Dicrosta and Neil Fuentes. And what we want to do right now, which we had talked about during the break, because you brought these wonderful items to us, is let's do the photos first. Sure. And then the videos. So if we can post the photos first and we'll talk about them, that would be great. Okay, here we've got them in the back.
Oh,
What are we seeing here?
So that is our upcoming production of A Christmas Story, and that is Lisa Costello, who plays Ralphie's mom in the show, and that is Randy, who is hiding inside the cabinet, concerned that something's about to happen to his brother Ralphie, correct? Ralphie got into a fight, and he's worried that his father's going to kill his brother, and so he's hiding inside the cabinet, fearful for his brother.
Okay.
Just like the movie. And there she is consoling Ralphie over the fight right there as well. And Ralphie is Aiden Masterbone, who actually is a student at our school, New Haven Academy of Performing Arts, as is Lisa, and all three of her children take lessons at our studio as well.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Yeah.
So lots of family history there. And there's Mr. Neil directing the show. He's very animated.
There he
He's
is.
on stage.
Yep.
Yes, he's directing everything as I'm taking the pictures out there, along with Jeff, who plays Gene Shepard, the narrator, and Nick Rapuano, who plays the curmudgeon father. Nick is one of our acting instructors. He teaches all of our adult acting in the school.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And there's the whole entire cast at the end of Act 1, all coming out to torment poor Ralphie.
Same scene.
Same scene, yep.
And there I am telling them, and be meaner, be scarier. Yes.
And now they're all little angels.
They're all very scary.
Yeah. And this right there.
Nick Rapuano, which we're very lucky to have. He's an extremely talented actor.
Yes.
Really is.
He wins that's when he wins the leg, and so he sings a whole song about winning the leg. It's called a major award, and that he's made it finally. And then these are one of our main sponsors right now, New England Performance Installation. They have done so much for us as a company, and they are helping us in this show in particular. We are doing a fundraiser to help the East Haven Food Pantry.
Oh.
So everybody that comes to the show, if they bring a bag of non-perishable Thanksgiving food items, they will be entered into a raffle to win 2 airline tickets from Avello Airlines round trip complimentary. So there are other sponsors helping fund that as well. But New England Performance Installation is providing the transportation of bringing all of the food to the pantry for us.
Fabulous.
So it's a wonderful process of working with the other organizations to give back to our community. Again, that's what community theater is supposed to be about, working with each other and helping local businesses. And I really, really believe at the holidays it's so important to be able to help.
Right.
Yes.
And Avello is new to our area, and they are just trying to do everything they can to give back as well. So I reached out to them and told them what our mission was and our goal, and that I wanted to be able to encourage people to support the food pantry. And I had an idea of doing a raffle for it, and they said, absolutely, just tell us what you need, and we are glad to sponsor it.
Right
and there's the raffle right there. So people can come to the show and bring a bag with them, and they'll get entered into the raffle. And when the winner will be announced on our final performance at the Sunday performance, and that is also when we will announce what our spring show will be as well.
Oh, wonderful.
So
Okay.
it's a fun, exciting day for us, that last show. And then you asked us about New Haven Academy of Performing Arts before, and as Neil said, we put the performing in there all the time. So once per year we do our annual Christmas show, and it's our spin on any of the other Christmas spectaculars, like in New York City, etc., where we have tap dancing and ballet and singing and acting and the instrument students. It's all encompassing, and there's lots of costumes and special effects and lighting. It's really a beautiful show. We've been doing it now since 2017. It's become just an annual thing that we do every year, and every year somehow it gets bigger. We want to up ourselves from the next one, and people tell us it was better than the year before, and it's a sellout every year. So when tickets go on sale, they disappear very fast.
While we're here,
Sure.
and we're getting towards running out of time, I don't want to miss it. If we can also run the video that's about 3 minutes long, I'd like to do that as well. Well, that was something to watch. Oh my goodness. Neil, why don't you tell us, what did we just see?
Okay, so basically what you're seeing is what the ability that the theater has to become an entire surrounding environment for the audience, where you're going to have a feast for your eyes, which is you're going to have performers performing, you're going to have singers, you're going to have people playing instruments, you're going to have dancers, you're going to have actors, you're going to have projections on your right, projections on your left, projections on the front, and a huge slideshow. So why do we do this? It's because I believe that, especially children, which is the majority of our work that we do the work with, I think I don't believe in not pushing them as hard as I can. So I push these kids so hard that when people and adults come to see a show, this is what the norm has become. I really didn't want to come to see another kids show, but it wasn't a kids show. It was a show done by kids.
What are your thoughts?
I think that Neil is correct, because I hear that a lot outside, that people are blown away. They expect to see just a local little kid show or something when we have our kids, and they come out saying, this was like a professional show. I'm blown away. I can't wait to come and see the next one. When and how do we come and see the next one? And that's my job as the producer, is to get them in the door and keep them there. So he does all that creation, and he makes all those special effects. If it was up to me, you would just get the lights on and off. I want nothing to do with any of that kind of stuff. I prefer the reaching out and hugging people and welcoming them to our family, and encouraging them to participate in every way that they can, whether it be an audience member, a volunteer, or be in the show. Yeah.
Now, it's New Haven Academy of Performing Arts, but you mentioned you're in East Haven.
Correct.
And that you now have your own building. Where is it, and what's it like?
Sure. So the building is 597 Main Street in East Haven, and it's a two-story building that has all of our companies in it. The theater is in the lower rear section of the building, and we just purchased the building this summer from our landlord, and so now it's definitely our home for
Congratulations.
However many years we continue to be on this journey. I'm sure it's going to be a very long time from now, for a while, and I don't see us necessarily ever leaving that space. It really has become our home away from home. We joke sometimes that we're there so much that the house that we actually are supposed to live in is just our dog's house. We're guests in their home when we go there at nighttime. We just sleep there, but this is our real home, because most of our days are 14, 16-hour days.
And you were saying that you have 110 seats, if
Yes.
you will, and that they're movable and you can do other things in the space?
That's correct. So we can host any kind of event there, small parties. We have a book signing coming up for a friend of ours this coming year. We have 2 students that just started their own theater company, and we are going to be their first space. We donated it to the kids to use for their show, which is going to be Gutenberg in January, that they're producing. So once again, our kids are learning the production end, which is really nice, and we encourage them to become their own business and prosper and be young entrepreneurs, which is wonderful. So
we are slowly starting to run out of time.
Sure.
Neil, what are your thoughts to the viewer right now about the Academy, or about theater and performance, and people of all ages in general? Should they get involved?
Support, and it's not just us. I think support for the entire arts community in Connecticut is important. It's just not about our 3 companies. I think in general, wherever you are, in any town in Connecticut, support your local. And then my other message would be for the actual theater companies. Let's support each other. I borrow from you, you borrow from me, you do with me, you do. If we all work together, we all can have amazing performances and shows everywhere in Connecticut for our community to enjoy.
What are your thoughts, Billy?
I would like to spin off of his comment rather, on support. I try to encourage the audiences all the time. Supporting the youth is not just helping them, it's helping all of us, because they're our future. So if they don't have the proper support system, how is our world ever supposed to get better? So my mom still comes and supports my show. So I'm a firm believer of showing up for the kids and being there for them. We go outside of our 16-hour crazy days that we do, and in the show season, which is usually the spring, we tend to see like 15 plus shows. We go to almost every single show that our kids are in outside of our building, because we want them to know that it's not not just about what happens inside the building, it's about what happens outside. What are we fostering outside of those four walls? That's what's going to make a difference.
Okay, well, I want to thank you both so
Thank
much
you.
for being here. It's
Sure.
been great. It's been a jam-packed show.
Well, thank you for having us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm Deborah Gilbert. You've been tuned in to Arts and Entertainment. In case you need to reach me, I'm at artsandentertainment@mail.com. Well, I hope you have a super day today. I hope you've enjoyed the show. Thank you so much for tuning in. And as always, I'll see you next time.